So this morning, decorated combat veteran Lieutenant Colonel Alexander S. Vindman is testifying that he raised concerns several times, including after he listened in on the call, where you-know-who allegedly withheld aid until the Ukrainian president agreed to investigate the Bidens. And Vindman says he's a patriot who's doing this out of a sense of duty. But his loyalty was called into question on the Laura Ingraham show last night. Let's take a look.
Here we have a U.S. national security official who is advising Ukraine while working inside the White House, apparently against the president's interest, and usually they spoke in English. Isn't that kind of an interesting angle on this story?
I find that astounding, and some people might call that espionage.
So former Republican Congressman Sean Duffy also questioned Vindman's interest since he was born in the Ukraine. Ooh. Will this attempt to damage his credibility work?
Well, I mean, I'm reading about the guy. His grandmother and his father and he came to this country when he was 3 years old. His mother died. They were Jewish, so that means that they were escaping some oppression, I'm assuming. And then he came here and he became a Harvard-educated Ukraine expert. He's won the Purple Heart during the Iraq War. I mean, really? They don't question Trump's loyalty, who totally doesn't believe anything the CIA tells him or the FBI. But this guy has a Purple Heart is questioned over, President Bone Spurs. It's like, really, Laura? Come on. And what about the part where they're talking in Ukraine? That's their original language. If you want to get things straight, I would think if you're having a conversation with someone, you would talk in the language that you're most familiar with.
Well, now I'm questioning my whole upbringing because my dad speaks fluent Mandarin. He might have been a spy my whole life, and I didn't. Had no clue.
It's possible.
Look, I think there's nothing more unpatriotic than accusing someone, an American citizen and a veteran, and someone that is currently serving our country, and frankly being the adult in the room, and good for him on testifying today, accusing them of being a spy for this country. I mean, it's clear to me that if that's the only defense they have, then they're in some serious trouble here. But look, I'm sort of over this because I have complained from the beginning that I see a problem with this call. I don't understand why there aren't more Republicans speaking out about this, frankly, but if they weren't alarmed after hearing the call and after Bill Taylor testified, who is also a veteran, and expressed concerns, I'm not sure hearing from him today, as serious as it is going to change the needle on this.
Well,
people like Mitch McConnell, I just don't know what it's going to take.
It does seem to me to be very un-American to question and attack someone because of their birthplace. I mean, this is supposed to be the country where you embrace people from other places, right? That's the very fabric of this country. And, if you're going to attack him, are you going to attack Kissinger, who was born in Germany? Or are you going to attack Congressman Meadows, who was born in France?
Or Barack Obama,
who was
born in Hawaii, which is part of the U.S.
My dad was born in Panama.
Yeah, but I think that the point when you have these national security professionals who can communicate with foreign officials in their native language is to have them communicate in their native language. Yeah. And so to attack him on that basis, again, is very un-American. But he's the first White House official who was actually on the call to testify. So I think it really dismantles this White House administration's hearsay argument, right? Because that's what we were hearing before. It's all hearsay. It's all hearsay.
They'll find somewhere else.
It's not hearsay.
They'll find somewhere else to go.
I agree with everything you said, and I think that any veteran, especially somebody with a Purple Heart, deserves our respect. I think I made that very clear yesterday. But where everyone's losing me right now is there is this trend in American politics where we are criticizing veterans. We saw it with the Kazir family. We saw it with Tulsi Gabbard last week, with Hillary Clinton calling her into question for this exact same thing, saying she was a Russian asset. And all of this language is like McCarthyism. So if you have a problem with what Laura Ingraham did to excuse me, I'm not finished.
I know you're not, but I have to
Mr. Vindman today. But you should have a problem because you're questioning people's loyalty to America who have fought and served. And Tulsi Gabbard enlisted after 9/11 and served for 12 months, and by the way, is currently in the Army National Guard, and we're questioning, Hillary Clinton's coming in questioning her loyalty to the United States, and now we're questioning his loyalty to the United States.
She's not questioning her loyalty.
Yes, she is. She called her a Russian asset, and she said that
she did not. I have the quote right here.
And she's being groomed for a third party.
She said, I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye, the Russians, on somebody who is currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians.
If you are a patriot who loves, and by the way, if Hillary Clinton believes that, you should be doing an investigation into this, because that is a very, very serious claim.
Maybe they are.
But if you are questioning Tulsi Gabbard and you are questioning Mr. Vindman right now, I don't understand where we come into place, where we can question people who have sacrificed and served in war right now in the American dialogue. I don't like it when Laura Ingraham did it last night. I don't like when Hillary Clinton does it to Tulsi Gabbard. I think it sets a very, very bizarre precedent.
It's also exactly what Russia wants and exactly what China.
Yeah.
All these places love it when we do that.
You just brought up Russia, and that's part of what I think Hillary was talking about. But what Lieutenant Colonel Vindman
says, loyalty to the Ukraine.
Well, the reason he was being Ukrainian is because the Ukrainians came to the lieutenant colonel to talk about the craziness with Giuliani.
But they're questioning him because he was born there.
Yeah, they're questioning.
I understand, but part of the questioning is because he was speaking Ukrainian. Yeah. Well, yes, he was speaking Ukrainian to the Ukrainians because the Ukrainians came to him because he speaks Ukrainian.
But these are all soldiers.
Yes, that's the thing.
But they're all soldiers who have fought and sacrificed and served for this country. We should not be questioning their loyalty. People who put their life on the line for America and for freedom, their loyalty to America should not just be questioned.
Listen,
and I'm not going to sit here and do it.
Hold on a second. Just because somebody served does not ipso facto make them above reproach.
For me, and where I come from, it does.
Listen.
I'm sorry, serving in Iraq in a war zone as a medic, and what he did as well, by the way, and his brother, by the way, Alexander Vindman, also serves, and they have both of them have Purple Hearts. And I just don't understand. For me, you get a pass for a lot of reasons, because
automatically
if you are putting your life on the line for freedom,
give them the benefit of the doubt.
Definitely, the soldiers in this country and veterans and people who have lived and fought for freedom get a pass from me.
What do you mean, Joy, by saying ipso facto
a pass
for everything? Because we do have war criminals.
Okay, everybody, just take a breath, because now it's becoming hard to.
I'm sorry, but people.
Hold on, let me just finish what I'm saying so that I can just say everybody has something to say at the table. We really do want to hear from everybody, but we're starting to do that thing.
Right.
And so I don't
know what that means, this thing.
It means you're talking over each other.
Well, it's The View.
It is The View. You know what? Let me tell you something about The View. This show has always had the ability to have different points of view, which we respect around the table. And when we talk to each other, we also exhibit respect. So when I'm saying to you, hold up, because we're not hearing each other, I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm trying to get you heard.
I don't think you're trying to cut me off, but
but that's what I'm doing. Yeah, but that's what you're doing right now. We'll be back. Welcome back. We were in the midst of having a conversation, which we will now continue.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave. I was talking about, I left the segment saying war criminals, and I don't want to leave the impression that I am anti-military, because I come from a military family as well. Mm-hmm. My grandfather was a merchant marine. My two cousins served in the Navy. My cousin that has been to this show many times is a wounded veteran who almost lost his life in the Army. But the point is that, I do give the benefit of the doubt to people who have served, but Chelsea Manning served as well. So there have been people that have served who has, but there have been people who have served that, have not done.
Do you know who's
great
the good
things.
example of that? Benedict Arnold was a general in the American Revolution. Just saying.
But for me, one thing that's lauded at my family is that my father was a war criminal, because while he was being tortured, he conceded that he had committed war crimes because he was being tortured to the point of broken. So throwing around the word war crime for me is something that's very intense, something that, by the way, I'm still dealing with today because al-Baghdadi was, look at my Twitter feed, there's lots of conspiracy theories being thrown around about lots of soldiers in lots of different contexts, and I think it is very, very dangerous. You better have some proof one way or the other before you start throwing things like that around.
That it's just as dangerous to put a broad stroke over any group of people, whether they be a non-white group, a Hispanic group, or veterans, anybody.
Again,
there's no such thing as everybody. There's no such thing.
But I think, again, my brother deployed when I was 19 to Iraq, and he was 17, and my parents had to sign a slip for him to go early. And for me, the freedoms that we take advantage of and take for granted here, which I think I myself am guilty of that as well, I will always give the benefit of the doubt to a veteran, and maybe that's just a cultural difference between.
Well, this is why we revere the Army and people in the service. We do, and we also revere the fact that we are trying to preserve the freedoms that they fight for and that have fought for us. This is why when we talk against Trump, who I believe to be unpatriotic and treasonous himself, we are actually being patriotic. People have to understand that.
But the point of
protest is patriotic.
Yes, I said that yesterday. But Colonel Vindman, who is testifying today, the unit of the reason why we're having this conversation is that his character is being attacked by Laura Ingraham and other people on the right. And the point that I was trying to make is it is something that is being thrown around, in my opinion, bipartisanly on both sides about our veterans and people who have served. And to me, it is one of the scariest parts about living in America today. And he deserves better respect. Tulsi Gabbard deserves respect. The Khans deserve better respect. And my dad deserves better respect.
I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that.
Yes.
And it's well said. And I think a lot of us are in the same place in that. But we're at this place in history where people on both sides are putting their party before this country. What do we stand for?
I agree with that.
So when we're talking
I don't see that.
You don't see that?
That the Democrats are putting the party, they're having impeachment inquiries against somebody who puts
let me finish.
corruption against his country.
Well, we can disagree on that, but you can see it. You can see it everywhere. But when we talk about this Ukraine call, take the politics out. I beg people to do that because this is going to set a precedent for the way that we do foreign policy, the way that we conduct ourselves, what we stand for years and years to come.
Nobody at the table is questioning the Ukrainian call.
I'm saying I'm frustrated because I don't understand how Republicans, for example, can't see that as a problem, where you're either silent on it or you're now saying that this guy, Vindman, who is an absolute hero for this country right now, speaking out, you're saying that he's now a spy. I just don't know how we are in this place. When did it become more important for you to find a talking point to support this president and your party than it is to do what's right for all of us, collectively, as a country, for the people that fight for us?
But you know what the reason is, Abby? The reason is that the party is getting what it wants. Low taxes, anti-abortion, all the things that they want, all the judges. So they overlook everything.
It's everywhere. What do you mean it's everywhere?
It's not everywhere. No.
Well, you're saying Democrats never put their party
right now. They're not.
I don't think you can claim a false equivalency at this point in time. At this point in time,
really,
Abby? Yeah.
Well, I think the Ukrainian call.
What's your argument for that?
Look at Adam Schiff, for example. Why have we not had impeachment hearings start already?
Adam Schiff?
We're starting them on
There's
Thursday.
an investigation going on.
I mean, to Megan's point, if you go on Twitter, I saw yesterday, too, conspiracy theories all over on the left side.
But there's an investigation going on.
You know what? This is why I try to explain to you, stay off Twitter.
Really?
Because that is not your...
I hate it every time I go on.
Because Twitter, I'm just going to say why. Because...
I'm sorry, just that the conspiracy theory about my dad rose to a level that his office actually had to put out a statement about it.
No, I'm aware. I'm aware. That's why, listen.
Sometimes you can't.
Yeah, you can.
No, I don't go on Twitter. I don't, but it's...
Because Twitter, you can find whatever you want to find on Twitter. Everything. You can find how I'm the worst person in the world and scum of the earth, and then I'm the best person in the world and not so much scum of the earth. It is, and when we start to look to get our information about what's going on from Twitter, it becomes an issue because it's not normally about the truth on Twitter, as you know. It's about, well, this must be happening because I saw this and this. It becomes about a whole bunch of
But I think that's why we're having so many conversations right now, like people like Andrew Yang and Elizabeth Warren, about big tech's influence in politics in general and about the... Yes?
But we're hearing presidential policy on Twitter because the president uses Twitter to announce that he's leaving.
But you know what I did see on Twitter yesterday that was positive and who is a hero amongst all of us is the dog. that was involved in taking
I'm
down
glad we
this.
can bring the dog
Go
into the
ahead. They got on my ear
No,
telling me to bring
go
it up.
ahead.
So
No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. You started it.
All right,
Go
well,
ahead and
the
finish.
president tweeted, and we want to salute the brave soldier. He chased down al-Baghdadi down the tunnel and got injured in the blast. The dog is recovering. We don't know the name or the gender. But it was just a moment where you're reminded it's not just humans, it's dogs that they're fighting.
I just have to ask this question.
Yeah.
What do they think will happen if they tell us his name?
I don't know. I know.
Not
What's
sure.
going to happen?
It says, you know.
They could trace
I
it back
just-
to the soldiers. They could trace it back to the unit.
He could just
trace it
say
back
his
to the
name is Rin
soldiers.
Tin Tin, right?
I mean, you could, yeah.
So,
I mean,
so it actually is very dangerous. It's a
just-
national security concern because it traces back to the
Well, then
unit
why show his
and then the
picture?
soldiers.
Why not just tell us that
people,
about the
people
people?
called it into question because of that.
We'll be
People
right
call
back.
the dog.
Come back. So, in an effort to keep kids from eating alone at lunchtime, a Wisconsin school is assigning seats in the cafeteria that rotate throughout the week. Some people say it's a really good idea. Some people say not so much. Some people say they were sitting by themselves as, you know, students. I'm not pointing to anyone in particular, but I did hear a story. So let's see.
I sat alone a lot of times at lunch. I went to 4 high schools, so I'm the new girl at the time. But you know what? Like, it taught me resilience. It taught me how to have confidence, and frankly, it taught me how to go up to a lunch table and ask to sit there. And
Right.
this is how the real world works. So I'm actually all in favor of this because let's look at this table. In high school, would we all sit at the same table? I'm not sure we would because we're all so vastly different. But this is the real world, and we all learn from each other. So why not encourage people to sit next to someone that might be a little different from them? Frankly, when I go to a party and I see someone standing alone, I'm all the more likely to go talk to them because I know what it feels like.
I'm attracted to men who stand alone in the room. The minute I see a guy by himself, I go there.
Yeah.
They always have a good story to tell.
I just like that type of guy.
I do the same thing. Well, not just men, but I talk to everybody. I'm a talker.
You're
But I
we
like.
remember from yesterday.
Yeah, I could talk to a wall, my husband says. But they did this at my kids' school from, I want to say, all through middle school they do this. And they started in 4th grade. And I love it because
idea.
everybody's included. And I know that my children make friends that they ordinarily would not make. And I think it's really, really important to do that because no one is excluded.
That's a good.
Well, I look at kids that I grew up with that were more the bullies and didn't want you at their table. And, you know, you follow each other now on social media, and I look at their life, and I'm like, I wouldn't change mine ever for theirs now.
Yeah, it breaks up the
it
cliques.
teach you really good lessons about life and about
Yeah, but if
accepting
they
people
had
different.
this system in your school, you wouldn't be sitting by yourself.
No, I would have had friends.
Right. That would have been nice for you, but you wouldn't.
Like I didn't sit by myself every time at lunch, but
No.
I had a ton of siblings. My sisters would sit with me sometimes.
You have so many siblings.
I
you
do.
don't
I have
need
a ton of
friends.
siblings.
Really?
Gosh.
Yeah.
I have like nothing to add to this topic. I'm so sorry.
Did you sit by yourself?
No, I didn't sit by myself. I had like just a much like my life now. I had like a core group of close friends and whatever.
That's a clique.
But I also think like
It's a clique.
I don't
That's a
know.
clique.
People have different. I don't know. I have nothing to say. I don't know. Whatever. Like do it. I don't have kids. It's been a long time since I've been in school. Like I'm sorry. I would have sat next to all of you. Anyone if you want to sit next to me, whatever. Most people don't want to sit next to me too. It's fine.
I think that kids should also wear uniforms.
I have nothing to say on this topic.
I like the uniform.
Wait, I think that children should wear uniforms
I like
also
uniforms.
because
I
wear
a lot of the
uniforms.
bullying is about clothing. I mean,
Yeah.
in my case, I used to wear Bermuda shorts in a very tough neighborhood.
Bermuda shorts.
Yes, and so I was bullied because my clothes were a little bit better in a way.
Yeah.
But most kids are bullied because their clothes are not up to snuff, and that's mean and evil. And I experienced it anyway, and it's a nasty thing.
And
I
it
went
makes
to
them wearing
Catholic
a lot
school, so I
easier.
never had
That's
that
the
Same.
problem.
Catholic school.
Uniform.
They had
Yeah.
the uniforms.
But
That
I
was good.
also chose who I wanted to sit next to.
Yeah,
I didn't
of
like
course.
being told that I needed to do this because for me, it's how you learn, much in the way you're saying. I think it's how you learn to walk up to people. It's how you learn to sit. It's how you learn to take rejection when somebody says, I don't want to sit with you. You know, it's how you learn to sort of deal with stuff. So I'm a big fan of letting kids, you know, try to figure it out. Yes, I see hard rap. We'll be right back. So there is an amazing conversation happening here right now.
Everyone wants Joy's
Don't
lasagna.
go into the lasagna thing again, please.
No, it's not the lasagna
never
thing,
getting it.
but this is the thing that people want from Joy. So there was a question. Joy said, I think Can I say what it
Tulsi.
was? Tulsi Gabbard is going to run in a third party.
Yeah.
And I said
And
no.
Megan said no,
And
no,
I said
no.
This is the behind the scenes when you think we're all just hating each other. We're actually still talking about politics, which we enjoy doing in all segments, Brian.
Right.
I said Bloomberg is more likely to run as a third party, and I said let's make a bet. And Whoopi said for Joy's lasagna, which Sonny and I will never get. It is the great pipe dream of working on the show that I will ever get Joy's lasagna.
What do I get in return if I make
What do you want? What do you want?
I don't know. I don't want anything. You lust after my lasagna.
I do.
I don't lust after anything you have.
I do.
Really good lasagna.
I do.
That sausage
everybody
that you
gets
use
it.
is
By the
like
way,
real Italian.
Mike Bloomberg is not going to run as a third party.
I think he might.
The guy hates Trump as much as I do. He's not running, believe me. He doesn't want
Because
Trump to
it'll
win.
give- it'll give the win to
Judy
Trump.
wants him to run. She endorsed him
Judge
already.
Judy is a sort of a
I
Republican.
think there will be a
isn't she?
third party no matter what. Like I do
so?
actually think there will be someone who will see, especially if God forbid Joe Biden doesn't end up surging to the top
he's not
and it
raising
ends
a lot
up
of
being
money.
Warren, there will be
Joe
someone
Biden
in the
has
middle
so
that
far
will be a
been Teflon.
centrist.
He is like the Ronald Reagan of the
He doesn't
Democrats.
have a lot of money, Joy.
He'll
He
get
doesn't
more
need a
money.
lot of money.
He doesn't need it.
I don't
Here's
know.
the thing.
He's got like
None
$9
of us,
million.
we can sit here and do this till our heads spin around like The Exorcist,
Yeah.
Yes.
but we're not going to know until the people decide what they want.
It's
and
early.
people are waiting
It's not
to
that
see what's
early.
going on. Well, you know, I think for you it's not. No, because you'd like everybody to, you know, do it today. And
Yes.
the truth of the matter is, you know, this is the hardest thing in the world is to be patient and listen.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it is the thing that makes us the anxious because we want an answer right now. What is that? Oh my God!
You know,
I told you that polls are like a heroin hit for me.
Yeah.
Like when they come out every morning or every day, I feel like I'm an addict getting my hit.
Right.
Like, and you
But
need to
the-
tie
wait.
off my arm and I will get my polls. I
You
think
know
it's
what?
not
I'm going to
good.
get the hit.
I think it's
I'm
reflective.
going
get the hit.
to get the hit when this impeachment inquiry is on ABC
too.
News. That's what I want. I want to watch that.
But
But you
think
know, that
about it.
means
Where are
we're
we
not
going
on
to be?
air.
That's
What are
right.
we gonna
Where
do?
are we going to be?
I'm at your
if
house
that's
and you're
happening
making
every day?
That's what we're doing in
And
the
what am I getting in return? Nothing.
What do you want?
I'll get our company,
What do
Joy.
you want?
I have
You
your
get to hang
company.
out.
I'll bring a good bottle of wine.
What do you want? Honestly, what can I give you? What do you want? I'll give it to you.
I'll
What do you
bring
want?
wine.
There's
Joy.
nothing that you girls have that I want.
No way. You know what?
Fresh eggs.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not totally sure. I may have something you want, but I already got the lasagna, so it doesn't matter to me.
This side of the table, Sonny and I, we get no respect over here for our lasagna. I'm so over it. And we're just sitting here, and this is where the viruses come when you guys get sick.
Yeah.
And we come healthy, and we get no lasagna, and it's harder on this side of
I'm
the
sorry.
table.
I'm sorry. Weren't there some I choose from that side of the table?
Yes.
The last couple days?
Yes. Sonny.
Yes.
She got it from
Sonny
Joy.
had an I chew.
You're
You
sick.
had an I chew. You had two I chews. I heard you do it. Yes.
I'm not sick. I got my
No.
flu shot yesterday.
Yeah,
I
I
got
got
mine.
mine.
Yeah. I had my flu shot too.
I got mine on Friday because
And we'll be right back.